As we continue on cyberspacewar.com with all the unbelievable updates going on, inner space and outer space. End of the internet as we know it? Question mark. U.S. Senate committee in a lame duck congressional session passed recently the Combating Online Infringements and Counterfeits Act, COICA, C-O-I-C-A. The EFF, Electronic Frontier Foundation, a digital rights group, calls it an internet censorship bill, saying, quote, clearly this was funded by media cartels, but this has a lot more to do with internet censorship as it does about copyright infringement, and you can get more on that from activistpost.com. There's more from Stop the Internet Blacklist, Rhode Island State Rep David Siegel getting into COICA. However, we do have a positive update to this story. From Raw Story, Oregon Senator Ron Wyden effectively kills internet censorship bill. It's too early to say for sure, but Oregon Senator Ron Wyden could very well go down in history as the man who saved the internet. Hyperbole noted. A bill that critics say would have given the government power to censor the internet will not pass this year thanks to the Oregon Democrat who announced his opposition during a recent committee hearing. Individual senators can place holds on pending legislation, in this case meaning proponents of the bill will be forced to reintroduce the measure and will not be able to proceed until the next Congress convenes. Even then, the passage is not certain. The aforementioned Combating Online Infringement and Counterfeits Act would have permitted a blanket takedown of any domain alleged to be assisting activities that violate copyright law based upon the judgment of state attorneys general. Deploying this statute to combat online copyright infringement seems almost like using a bunker buster cluster bomb when what you need is a precision-guided missile, Ron Wyden said. And again, the unfortunate military-industrial complex analogies noted. But let's keep moving quickly through all our cyber updates. And again, I implore you to go check these stories out for yourself. Again, myself and Alan, who's helping post to cyberspacewar.com from the middle of America in Omaha. Our own oracle, if you will. We don't have time to go into massive detail. We just have to kind of blast through these, unfortunately. Stuxnet role in stoppage at Natanz. The IAEA, that's the International Atomic Energy Agency report, says uranium enrichment halted at Natanz facility in Iran on at least one day this month. SpaceDaily.com notes Stuxnet could add to Iran's enrichment problem, suggests its experts believe that the Stuxnet computer worm, which infected the facility's computer system months ago, which of course we reported in great detail here on MediaMonarchy.com, may be contributing to that stoppage. The other note is that they're not doing it at all. U.S. fingers China for cyberjacking internet traffic. Should the incident be called 18 minutes in April? The Guardian reported China Telecom, state-owned company, had access to emails from NASA and the United States Army for a brief time earlier this year. The access could be used for malicious activities by China. China Telecom denies any hijacking. However, according to an annual security report, quote, the U.S. report said that some 15% of global internet traffic was routed through Chinese servers earlier this year, prompting worries. And we did note that headline for you last week. Furthermore, from the Telegraph, we get into a timeline of Chinese censorship and related and unrelated cyber attacks. As we said, Lieberman praising China for their internet censorship. We even have more updates on the mystery missile, and we've been covering both angles of this story. The far more controversial Chinese missile angle being noted from places like Wayne Mattson and WorldNet Daily. Mystery contrail was from Chinese missile. However, even the anonymous comment on this posting says, if you went to the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency military website, you will find there was a warning. I believe they yanked it, but of course we all saved it out here in cyberspace war land. We also have a couple of posts about the mysterious X-37B. Do you remember that back in April? Writing for thediplomat.com, David Axe notes U.S. starting Asia space race, noting the April 22nd launch of the X-37B robotic spacecraft into orbit by U.S. Air Force counters China's anti-satellite capability and goes a step further. The X-37B, built by Boeing, could also be used to spy on and even disable other nations' satellites, all without them necessarily knowing that it's even happening. However, Washington-based analysts and think tank folks say the smoke probably exceeds the fire. The update on the X-37B, where we wonder, and the Christian Science Monitor wonders, if its initial mission is near an end. We've also noted in the past the X-37B changing course, darting around all around outer space as we try and track it online. Meanwhile, we've got never-ending blimps here closer to terra firma, spying on our every move. An interesting history mystery note on the ancient knowledge of Sirius B, an African tribe, the Dogon, D-O-G-O-N, may have possessed ancient knowledge of the white dwarf companion star Sirius B, not discovered in contemporary times until 1978. DailyGalaxy.com getting into this fascinating story back in ancient history. And our final note on cyberspacewar.com, Nazi UFO technology. Is it a myth? Polish artist Hubert Czechropak, fascinated over the years by Nazi myths of Nazi UFOs, the Antarctic base called New Swabia, and the U.S. Navy's unsuccessful 1946 Operation High Jump, explored artistic concepts in an art exhibit in Peenemünde, Germany, where that V-2 rocket was developed on the Baltic coast. Myths of Nazi UFO technology. More on that from OurStrangeWorld.net. Fascinatingly enough, and this segues into our last couple of notes on related alternative media. A couple of months ago, I saw a live presentation from my good friend Clyde Lewis of GroundZeroMedia.org on the Nazi connections to NASA post-World War II, Operation Paperclip, Werner von Braun, getting into the Vril and a lot of interesting things I'd never heard of that traces back a lot of this technology to sinister forces, unknown origins. Was there an earlier crash predating Roswell by decades going on in Germany? This is the kind of area and things that I sometimes shy away from here on the show, as it's somewhat speculative in nature, and I'm in no way equipped to wax on about these events. But like I said, you can get more on that from GroundZeroMedia.org, which brings us to the latest episode from my man Clyde Lewis, Piggies, where he notes with the accompanying article to this episode that this one comes with a bit of trepidation. I unfortunately only caught about the last 40 minutes of this episode, which is broadcast live from out of KUFO 101.1 FM here in the People's Republic of Portland, Oregon. And it was all about the media and the memes and the murder and the mayhem and the star whackers and the sinister forces. Things I've discussed with Peter Levenda in our amazing interview from just over a year ago, as well as our interview with Alex Constantine, the author of The Covert War Against Rock. And that's something we are going to get into on the upcoming episode 196, where we will have, again, an in-studio guest here. We're going to have security expert and author H. Michael Sweeney, author of The Professional Paranoid and many other books and lectures, and we're going to get into a bit of this targeted individuals, folks like the Quades and others. So a huge hat tip to Clyde. It was rather bittersweet at the end. Our friend Clyde Lewis is and has been battling cancer, and we send him all our best, all our vibes, all our prayers. and you can donate to Clyde Lewis, groundzeromedia.org. The other thing we do want to note, and I'll only mention it briefly, I got a call late Tuesday night from Clyde where he told me that he is no longer affiliated with zeropointradio.com. And I don't really know, and if I did, I probably wouldn't still be at liberty to say anything about it. That's their story. And it really doesn't involve MediaMonarchy.com, but we do want to tell you that. So, Clyde Lewis has separated from zeropointradio.com. We'll have to ask him about the updates and get it from the horse's mouth. So, having said all that, we'll close out with the latest from my man James Corbett of CorbettReport.com, who's been on a little bit of a hiatus from his regular episodes. So that includes the weekly shows, as well as the Documentaries That Matter series, as well as the Sunday Update, and as well our NewWorldNextWeek.com weekly video series, which will return next week, December 2nd, with a brand new episode after being away for a couple of weeks. However, James hopped over to one of his sister sites, climategate.tv. Don't forget that site. Bookmark it. In a new video and article with the transcript, again, fantastic work coming from CorbettReport.com. ClimateGate is still the issue. This week marked the one-year anniversary of the release of emails and documents from the Climatic Research Unit at the University of East Anglia that we now know as ClimateGate. There's also a related interview with Richard Lindzen on the state of climate science. So again, my friends, climategate.tv, the eugenics agenda to blame Earth changes, which are essentially happening from the sun and other sources, on dirty, dirty humans. Carbon, of course, is a life-giving gas. It's what plants literally crave. But that's going to do it for this B-Side episode 195 from MediaMonarchy.com. My name is James Pilato. I'm your host and webmaster of the site and show, your source for alternative news, politics, conspiracies, and cover-ups. Like I said, stay tuned. In-studio guest the second hour on our upcoming episode 196. And we're going to go out with some Pixies, with a little holiday song as we're here post-Thanksgiving, Black Friday for you. And as always, my friends, don't hate the media, become the media. Take care.